A lot to unwrap this week.
Definitely a lot of drama.
So, you're a big comedian guy, right?
Sure.
I kind of went down this rabbit hole. I've been listening to a bunch of comics. Theo Von is hilarious.
Theo Von's great. He's funny.
Do you know Tony Inchcliffe or whatever?
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
Kill Tony.
Yeah. So funny.
Also funny.
Who else?
I mean, it just depends. Like, what's weird is there's these dudes that, like, I don't think are very funny that people love. And then there's some guys that, like, people hate. And, like, I think Matt Rife has some, I think most of his stuff is not that funny. But when he does his, like, audience interactions, you should watch just him interact with the audience. That stuff is funny. But, like, his actual comedy is like, yeah.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Who had a worse Sunday? Let's talk about it. Is it still going?
It's going right now.
Who had the worst Sunday? The Chiefs,
Okay.
the Gurleys, who almost,
Do we have any other options?
yeah. Drake. Whew.
Or Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift's probably okay. She's probably counting her money. Or did you see the 7 people that showed up to the APP finals? They had banners covering their bleachers, Tyler.
Yeah.
That's bad.
I did see that.
A lot of people are out there saying, oh, APP is just going to lie in wait. They can't lie in wait. How are they making any money? So who had a worse Sunday?
It's got to be the Chiefs.
I would say
Actually, maybe the Gurleys because it was on ESPN too, wasn't it?
ESPN 2 had 6 total points.
Yeah.
6 points. So,
Hey.
I don't know. Maybe they'll. I feel like you got to give refunds on the sweaters if you only.
I thought you were supposed to make a olive branch or a peace offering with Rachel this time.
I tried.
Is that it?
No,
to say who had a worse Sunday?
I'm just saying, like, that's just on being honest.
Okay.
I feel like you should get a refund on your sweater if you score 6 points in a final in 3 games.
Welcome back to another episode of King of the Court. We are your hosts, Tyler and
Jimmy Miller.
Big shout out to the Pickler, who is the title sponsor of this podcast. This podcast would not be possible without them. Thank you. What's their next grand opening? Do they have any coming up?
Yeah, they've got a few. They've got Denton, Texas.
Denton, Texas.
You ever been there?
I have not.
You haven't? Where is Denton? Do we know?
I thought we talked to somebody from there. It's like an hour outside of Dallas. Is that right?
Isn't everything an hour from Dallas?
That's what I say. A Texas mile.
Yeah.
Anyways, Pickler, they have a bunch of grand openings. We will hopefully...
Peoria, Arizona. Mesa, Arizona.
Awesome.
Green Bay just opened.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're in any of those areas, go check them out. We love the Pickler. If you're also interested in starting your own franchise, being a business owner, you can reach out to thepickler.com and learn more about their opportunities to run your own business within pickleball. Very lucrative, profitable at the moment, and so join the wave. Also, we have Pickleball Central. We love pickleball. They are the #1 online retailer in the entire world.
Yeah.
They have all things pickleball paddles, pickleball bags, pickleball balls,
Pickleball balls.
They're just pickleballs, not pickleball balls, just pickleballs.
Are they pickle balls or are they pickleball ball? That's a good question, actually.
They're pickle balls.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Also, if you want to save a little bit of money, you can use our code KOTC0225 for this month in February.
Yes.
Thank you for the support, Pickleball Central. Also, big news. Something that we've been teasing for at least 8 months, and we've talked about it recently. Holy cow.
Tyler, our flavor is here.
Okay.
It's out. It's ready.
And by the time this episode releases, you will be able to order it right now.
Guys, first of all, this packaging is sick. I mean, we got the white gummy flavor. We got the crown. It's got the crown up here, so it kind of has that Louis Vuitton look to it.
Is that not Gucci? Or is it Louis Vuitton?
I think Louis does the yeah.
Or is it Prada?
I don't think you know.
I know my brands.
Collie Waters.
Okay.
So we got the Holy KOTC.
It's like you don't want to rip it off because it looks so beautiful.
No, yeah. I'll never open this package. I'll sign this package and send it to someone. Just kidding. You don't want that. Anyways, it tastes amazing.
What's the flavor again?
White gummy.
White gummy. A throwback to white gummy.
Yep. So white gummy. The flavor is amazing. Go on holyperformance.com. Use code KOTC.
It does work with this new flavor.
Yep. And put it in. Order our flavor. Supports us. Supports the show. We made a little bet with them. We want to see if we can sell this out.
Yeah.
So please jump on. This is the in-game. So this is all your electrolytes. It's going to help you cramping, fight hydration, endurance support. Has zero sugar.
Zero sugar.
It's good for you.
But it tastes good still.
Yes, but it tastes amazing.
Yeah.
We want your honest feedback. So please jump on. Go try it out. Also, on the back, there's a little QR code right there. Click on that QR code, and it'll take you right to our pods.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Who would have thought when we started the pod that we would have a KOTC flavor white gummy?
White gummy.
So we had a photo shoot last week, and within the photo shoot, they had this massive, was it 1 or 2 bags of gummy bears?
It was huge. I don't know.
It was massive. And we were just throwing them around and
Yeah.
having a lot of fun.
We had fun. So go check them out. Holyperformance.com. Code KOTC. And yeah, try it. White gummy.
Right there. Awesome. Thank you for the support, Holy. And we hope that you enjoy this new product that we have worked so hard to release. And we're thrilled that it's finally here. Okay. There was so much to recap to talk about with PPA Tucson. I did make it out alive despite the many needles that I saw on the ground.
How was it? Give me your honest assessment of Tucson.
It's a desert.
Yeah.
It's very deserty.
Yes.
I think it's bigger than most people think. And so I think it depends on where you're staying.
Did you feel like it was the Daytona of the Southwest?
I could see how people might think that depending on your location.
Did you ever feel unsafe?
You know, I didn't rent a car because cars are insanely expensive to rent. And apparently it was Gemstone week in Tucson.
Oh, that explains a lot because there's probably a lot of hippies there and drug addicts like Gems. So.
Yes. So that's why everything was super expensive.
I just offended half of our audience probably.
I didn't even hear what you said. But that's why everything was so expensive. Hotels, cars, everything like that. But I was walking most places and I walked to this restaurant. And then on the way back, it was like pretty dark actually. Yeah. And I ran for maybe a quarter mile just back to my hotel.
A little nervous.
I was all like, I don't want to be out here on the road.
You had
But then I slowed down and I was fine.
You had some nerves.
Yeah, just a little bit.
What restaurant?
Jimmy John's the first night. And then there was this incredible buffalo wing place.
Buffalo Wild Wings?
No, it wasn't Buffalo Wild Wings, not B-dubs. It was it was called like Wing Flap or something like that.
That's pretty good.
It was great.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're safe.
Yeah, but Tucson's cool. I went to University of Arizona, their tennis match. They have the number 3 player in the country playing tennis for them, University of Arizona, and it was really cool to see.
Oh, you went and watched them?
Yeah, when I got smashed on one of my days, so I left and watched some tennis.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
And that player was really good? Did
Yes.
you try to convert him?
Number 3 in the country.
Men's? Women's?
Men's.
Did you put a plug in for pickleball?
No, but apparently Connor Garnett, I went with him and Allie, and Connor knows him. He grew up in his area.
Who's Allie?
Allie Welch, his social media manager.
Isn't that his girl? Is that his girlfriend?
Social media manager.
Oh, okay.
Manager.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah. What do you know, Jimmy?
I don't know anything.
But yeah, it was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, University of Arizona. And the weather was beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. PPA Tucson.
The Tucson Open.
So many headlines.
Yeah, a lot of headlines. So I think we start with, let's get right into men's singles because it didn't take long. This was the debut of Federico Staksrud.
Okay. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I kind of foreshadowed a little bit.
And his Adidas paddle.
Yes.
And
so this was the first tournament that Fed was using his Adidas paddle.
Yeah. And his very first match, which was he had a bye. So his very first match is the round of 32. And he plays the newly signed Australian.
Yes.
Tom Evans.
Yep.
And he loses.
In 3.
The man who had medaled every single event last year loses in 3 in his very first match with Adidas paddle.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, Tom Evans, he did play Federico before. Mm-hmm. A lot of people thought that this was a random person from Australia.
Yeah, Caitlin Kerr called him a rando.
Yeah, which I don't.
Some people kind of got after her for that.
Yeah, I actually played him in San Clemente last year, and then after he beat me, he played Federico, and he played Fed really close one of the games. The other games, he got blown out. Yeah. And so they had played each other before. So
Tom, who also just played over at the Australian Open.
Yes.
Might have been suffering from a little jet lag. Beats Fed. But then the very next round, he loses to Eric Roddy.
He does, yeah, which is a little bit unfortunate. Kind of kills that story, but yeah.
Yeah.
I did not see that match, but from what I heard, Roddy was actually playing really well.
Roddy's not a bad singles player.
He's an interesting guy. He's very up and down. Sometimes he'll hit 10 winners in a row, and then on other times you don't know what you're going to get from him.
Yeah.
He's like a Jack Sock
You
almost.
just played Roddy.
I've played him a couple times.
Yeah, but you just played him a couple weeks ago, right?
It's been more than a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But you beat him in 3.
The first time I played him recently, I beat him in 2 easily. Uh-huh. And then the second time, he beat me, but I can't remember if it was 2 or 3.
Oh, okay. So there's also some really good like first round matches. Like Rettenmeyer and DJ Young went 12-10, 13-11.
Yeah.
Moda, Alhuni, and Eric Onsens was 11-9, 11-9. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's any controversial calls in that one.
People think that the round of 32 is tough. The round of 64 is tough.
Yeah, exactly.
In men's singles.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then you get to the round of 32. I mean, Roscoe Bellamy ends up having to play Zane Ford. Mm-hmm. And he ends up losing in 3 to Zane.
I think Zane Ford is maybe one of the hottest new guys that are on the scene right now. He's got a lot of momentum.
He does, but did you see what happened against Kwong?
I didn't, but I heard about it.
So I think he was up 10-5.
I think I heard he had 3 match points. In game
No.
2.
It was more than that. It had to be at least 4, 5.
Okay.
And he started to slowly melt down.
Uh-huh.
And then in the third game, after he blew it, he ends up losing 14-12. Mm-hmm. And then in the third game, he basically he quit. It was weird. He was. I mean, Kwong had him on a string, mm-hmm. but QD was just putting the ball wherever he wanted. And then he just Zane started getting mad. He started yelling, started getting pissed. He fired his paddle after he lost.
Uh-huh.
Very, he looked very frustrated, very immature. Mm-hmm. Is probably the right word for it. Throwing his paddle, screaming. I mean, his age was showing for sure.
Okay.
And so, it was kind of a weird situation. Even QD was kind of staring at him like this dude's having a
all right. So
meltdown.
Question with that. So QD goes on to win.
Yeah.
And that was the quarterfinals. Next match, QD pulls out.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, if he's hurt, he's hurt, right? I don't think he would have pulled out if he wasn't.
Could he not have pulled out 1 point earlier and let Zane Ford move on?
No. Why?
Because if he's hurt, he has 0 chance of getting through.
But he played through it. He played through the pain. Sorry, okay. I think it's a worse look that Zane Ford couldn't beat him when he was hurt.
But was he truly hurt? Because he's pulled out multiple times.
Then why would he pull out if he wasn't hurt?
That's a great question.
Yes, he was hurt.
He still played doubles. He still played mixed.
Yeah, but how do we not know that he didn't re-aggravate his injury during the match with Hunter, and so he pulled out?
He could have pulled out 1 point earlier.
No.
So this goes back to a very long debate.
Why would you pull out 1 point earlier if you can still make it through and you're not hurt? You pull out when you can no longer go through.
Yeah, so there's these players many years ago when I was playing in the juniors. They were religious, and in their religion, they don't play on Sundays.
Okay.
And so what they would do is they would always get to the finals, but they would just not show up for the finals because the finals were on Sunday.
Callie did this for
yes. And so what a lot of people were getting mad at them for is that they should have pulled out on Saturday so that the other person could go on and play in the finals. Look,
for me, my thought on that is the other person's got to earn it. There's no free rides here. Mm-hmm. It's competitive. It's a competitive sport. And if Kwong was hurt, he shouldn't freaking tank so Zane can move on because Kwong's not going to be able to move on.
Well, then he should have just pulled out.
Well, then Zane should be able to beat him if he's that hurt. like, I don't think anybody should pull out. Like, you go as long as you can until your body tells you can't go anymore.
That's what she said.
Yes. And clearly against Hunter, he decided that he was done.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
obviously for Zane, he wishes he would have, been hurt
For sure.
sooner.
For
but,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just tough. We've seen a couple players do it, not only Kwong, but there's been a couple other players that they'll win one round and then they'll pull out or they just won't even show up.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty disappointing for a lot of players.
I mean, we saw that with Christian and with Tyson for a while.
Exactly.
Where they kept signing up for singles.
Exactly.
And then they weren't playing. I think that's different than playing a couple rounds. I mean, QD did play 2 rounds. He played 2 matches.
Sure.
So,
but if you truly are hurt, then you probably shouldn't be playing mixed doubles or men's doubles.
yeah, but I mean, maybe some of these guys have a little higher pain tolerance than you.
How did I get thrown in here?
Maybe
my pain tolerance is very high. All right, moving on. Who
I
else
think
is
we got
there?
to talk about Dylan Frazier and the Yola.
Okay. So, yeah, go ahead.
Dylan played with the Yola,
Yeah.
and he was hitting rockets.
Yeah.
Absolute smoking the ball. Look, I think that this tournament is a great indicator of how important the paddle is. Dylan obviously is a very, very good singles player. I mean, he won Masters last year. He's always, in the quarters. Fed obviously is the number 1 singles player in the world. Mm-hmm. And essentially they swap paddles, right? Dylan was using a Selkirk in the past. Fed used the Adidas, but it's similar to that Selkirk paddle. And now Dylan's using a Yola, and Dylan goes out and he smacks Connor Garnett 1-5.
Real quick, a small defense of Connor Garnett is he was sick that day. He's still sick, but yes, he did play incredibly well.
Yeah, but he also, I mean, Dylan beats Kason Campbell, who also is a good player.
Yeah, yeah.
He beats Blaine Havenier.
Yep.
And he was just he was hitting nukes all over the place.
Yeah.
And where Fed ends up losing to Tom Evans. And so I think that, the
paddles
argument,
make a difference.
Yeah, the paddles are making a big difference, right?
Who would have thought?
The other guy who let me just read these scores, okay? 11-2, 11-2, 11-2, 11-1, 11-3, 11-0, 11-1, 11-3.
It's got to be my guy, Alshon.
That was Christian Alshon's road to the freaking finals.
Yeah.
And he's not playing. That was against Jack Sock, against Julian Arnold, against Eric Roddy, who beat Tom Evans. That's quite the road to the finals.
It must have been Andiamo's words of encouragement to Alshon at the end of their match.
Didn't work.
Huh?
It didn't work because they get to the finals.
Well, he got to the finals.
And Hunter Johnson, who
You called. You said he would win it.
yeah
Yeah.
wins it.
Yeah.
11-7, 11-2 over Christian.
Yep.
Another gold. I mean, Hunter is closing the gap now on Fed.
Yeah, he's got to be a top 3 singles right now, if not number 1. I mean, his last 3 to 4 months have been
Phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what him and
the
Paris.
growth on it is
I don't know what him and Paris are drinking.
Late night cardio.
Yeah, what's in that water? But maybe there's some bedroom cardio that's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is on fire right now. And then Dylan and Jack Sock. I don't know if you end up watching that. If anyone gets a chance, that epic match.
Oh, for bronze.
For bronze, yeah. 11-7, 13-11, 11-9.
Yep.
Dylan wins the bronze.
Yep.
So congrats, Hunter. I mean, the dude is playing really, really well. All right. Women's
singles. Feisty.
Always feisty.
Yeah.
We had screaming.
Yeah.
We had yelling. We had a player ask for the head referee. I think we had that happen actually in a few different matches.
Okay.
There was a lot going on. Caitlin Christian was the 1 seed because Annalie chose not to play. Mm-hmm. She turned 18 and her body already started to break down. Mm-hmm. Just kidding. I think that her knee is still bothering her, and so it's just like precautionary.
Sure.
And so we had a couple of, first of all, Jeannie Arakina was up on Paris Todd, like 9-5 or something.
In game 1?
Yeah. Which is impressive.
Yeah.
So let's go to the quarters. We had Brooke Buckner against her partner, Zoe, Chow Yi Wang, and that went 3. And then, which was a pretty good match. And then Paris and Leia, I feel like they have been matched up together a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the women's field is not that deep in singles, and so the top players, they're almost always going to compete against the same same
for sure. But
players.
It just seems like every event, it's those two are playing each other.
Yeah.
And Paris ends up beating Leia 3-1.
Yeah.
I mean, Paris played insane. And then Kate Fahey, remember when Kate Fahey, I think it was in Salt Lake when she won, she was like a 28 seed or something, and we were like, listen, give her 6 months. So she was the 4 seed in this one.
Yeah.
She's actually the higher seed than Paris.
Well,
now, I know it's randomized, but I'm just saying that she's kind of moved herself in that position. So Kate had a 3-game battle with Dominique Schaefer. Dominique played well.
she's good in singles.
Yeah,
she's done really well. I mean, in Daytona, I think she got finals or semis, and she's done well in singles.
She ends up losing 11-8 in the third. And then in the semis, Caitlin Christian, Kate Fahey. What did you think about that match?
So I only watched a little bit of it, but
could you hear it before you saw
it? Everyone knows how I feel about those antics, and I am not a fan.
I mean, there was a lot of screaming in that match.
It's a little bit comical for me.
I mean, just yelling, screaming.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah.
It was insane.
What are your thoughts on it, Jimmy?
I mean, look, whatever it does to pump you up, but it was, I mean, even for me, it was a little over the top. I mean, I guess if that's what it takes.
Oh my gosh.
It was crazy. And then in the other women's semis, Paris and Brooke, I think Paris was down 9-4 or something like that in the third.
So once again, I didn't see this, but Paris had a couple match points in game 2.
Yeah.
And then she was up, like you said, big time in the game 3.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, that's right. And then Brooke came back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Paris ends up holding off. So she wins 11-2. 12,
but there was a
14.
controversial call at the end where Paris calls a ball out. It gets overruled to be in, and it also gives Kate an extra point.
Brooke.
I know we're going to have a lot of comments on that, so tell us what happened there.
Yeah. So basically, if you're I believe the rule is if you're out of timeouts, right?
Yeah.
And you challenge, if you lose that challenge, you lose a point. So you can sacrifice. I believe that's how the rule is written. I mean, we'll have a referee if there's a referee watching. I know that there's some of you. If you lose the challenge out of timeouts, you can still challenge out of timeouts, but then you're risking a point.
Yeah, and it's a point added. I thought at first it was a point taken away from the person. It's just a point added.
A point added, yeah. And the reason for that is because you're already going to lose the point because you lost the point on the actual challenge to begin.
Luckily, Paris was able to pull through. But
Kate Fahey was the one telling Brooke to challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I saw when. Yeah, I don't know. It looked pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean, she may have been saying to challenge, but I think she would have challenged regardless. I mean, because the ball was close. And so.
Yeah. Yeah. So Paris ends up winning that one.
Okay.
Gets to the gold medal match, and she steamrolls Caitlin Christian in the gold. 2 and 3. Paris Todd and Hunter Johnson.
What are they drinking?
I don't know, but like those two are red hot right now.
Where's Yates?
Yates was just...
Is he just driving everybody around?
He's just watching, wearing a Share Bear shirt. Just there. I don't know. Is Yates still hurt?
I don't know.
How's his hammy? Because remember, he had a real bad hammy injury.
Thomas Wilson was there.
That's what I heard.
He was commentating a little bit, I think.
Yeah,
he was
I heard that he said he's going to start kind of trying to ease his way back in, come around a little bit more, things like that.
All right, real quick, we got to give a big shout out to our next sponsor, which is C&D Pickleball Nets. We love C&D. They make the best pickleball nets available. If you're interested in experiencing a premium quality experience playing pickleball, you must use a C&D Pickleball Net. You can get it for your home, your church, your gym, your driveway, your pickleball facility, whatever it is. Go use a C&D Pickleball Net. They are the best nets available.
Yeah, by far.
By far.
There's nothing better than C&D. Only nets that you'd feel safe being around in Tucson, that's for sure.
Exactly. Just go and walk around with that and just hide behind it.
It has wheels, so you just push it in front of the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy cars out there, like kind of souped up.
Yeah.
A lot of lights around them.
People
the
like
Uber
lights.
drivers are very talkative out there.
People love lights.
Yeah. So I got in this Uber, And most of the time when you get in the Uber, like the seat in front of you, like the captain chair, is pushed up so you have as much legroom as possible.
Yes.
I got in and
So you rolling back?
100% positive that this seat in front of me was pushed back as far as it can go.
That's funny.
And nobody else was in the car except for the driver. And I didn't want to say anything like, hey, could you maybe scoot this forward a little bit? But yeah, zero legroom there.
When I was in Dallas, I asked the Uber driver if I could charge my phone.
Uh-huh.
And he asked if I had any cash. And then that was the same. Remember the other Uber driver got pulled over?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Did you have cash?
I didn't actually.
So you couldn't charge it?
No, he wanted like $3.
Hey, it's
I was
worth
like,
it.
bro, is this a bone? Like what? Anyways, that was wild.
Quid pro quo. All right.
Okay. Let's go mixed doubles.
Yes. Go check your nets out. Go buy your
Yes,
nets at C&D, which is thebestpickleballnets.com, and use code KOTC. They have this new net that is much more economical, however, still delivers on that high quality promise.
Yes.
All right, mixed doubles.
All right, mixed doubles. So, we got to start with the elephant in the room. What happened with you and Lena?
We got smashed.
2-5. Is Scarpa using the Yola still?
Eva, that's how you say it, right?
Eva. Oh my gosh, Eva.
She's good.
She's good.
She's a 3-time MVP challenger.
Yeah,
and she was solid.
Eva is. She's 43 years old.
I think she's older than that.
Maybe she's older than that, but Eva is.
She's solid.
So solid.
She's solid. She feels comfortable. She's not going to do anything too crazy, but she makes a lot of ball. Her floor is extremely high.
Yeah,
is extremely high. They just played really well. I thought I played okay. I didn't think I played terrible. But yeah, they killed us.
There's a few of those. So Elise Jones and Todd Foe end up losing to Samantha Parker and Mo Alhouni.
Yeah, I thought they would have gotten that too. But yeah, there's a couple.
I heard that Mo called Elise a cheat.
He did. There was an interesting point, but it's a little bit ironic coming from him. But Elise yelled during the point because she thought the point was over.
Yeah.
And
Elise yelled? Weird.
Yeah, and Mo wanted a hindrance called, and he didn't get it.
Elise's husband should have jumped the fence and ran right and got nose. Actually,
he wasn't there.
It'd have been like nose to belly button for Mo, but
he wasn't there. But yeah, there was a couple of other upsets. I felt like mixed doubles is fun. A lot of new partnerships.
Yeah, there was a lot of good ones. Ryan Fu and Angie Walker actually lost to Marshall Brown and Marcella Hones.
Kwong QD with Alex Trong. They beat Leia and Riley in the second round.
Yeah. So that was a good one. They beat him in 3.
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin Christian and Donald Young beat Coop and Michael Lloyd, which I think is a pretty good win.
Yeah, I could see that one going both ways, but yeah.
Megan and AJ lost to Paris and Hunter, 4-2.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Marshall Brown and Marcella Hones, how about this? They lose 11-1.
To who?
To Tyra and Christian.
Okay.
Win 11-6. Lose 11-1.
That's pickleball, man.
Yeah, and then probably the match, the singles, or one of the mixed doubles matches of the day was actually on SC4. So it was hidden a little bit. Mm-hmm. But Marietta, I don't know how to say her last name now.
You should. You have a lot of poly friends.
I know. Anyways, Etta and Jaume against Pablo and Zoe. It was 11-2, 12-10, 13-11. Mm-hmm. And Etta and Jaume were upset in round of 32.
What seed were they?
They were the 10.
And what were the others?
18.
Okay.
And then another really good match actually. James Ignatowicz and Jade end up beating Gabe and Jesse.
Yes. Yep.
That was a solid match. But Ben and Annalie.
Yeah.
They had a little bit of a struggle. It was on championship court. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch the SQ and Pisnik against Ben and Annalie. Mm-hmm. Went 3, 11-9, 9-11, 11-8. Mm-hmm. Good battle. Andre is playing really well. Tina obviously she just keeps getting better and better.
Yep.
They had a little bit of a hiccup. And then Dylan and Kate upset. I don't know if it's an upset. They're the 16. James and Jade are the 9. Mm-hmm. They beat Ignatowicz and Jade. No, this is in the quarters.
Okay.
I heard that there was a controversial call there. I heard Dylan might have had a little hooky hook. Does Dylan Frazier?
Who do we give this to after this weekend?
There's a lot of them. Does Dylan Frazier need this? Little hooky hook. So yeah, but then Ben and Annalie roll through Dylan and Kate. We get to the semis and Tyra and Christian. Remember I told you J-Dub and Maggie would do well?
Yes, I do remember that.
They end up making the semis. They lose to Tyra and Christian 5-9. And so we get to the finals. Christian, by the way, is going for Triple Crown.
Yes. This has got to be his first time ever going for a Triple Crown.
First time ever. And he ends up losing in 3, 11-8, 11-8, 11-5 to Ben and Annalie, who win another mixed gold. Interesting. I don't think Tyra and Christian are playing many more together, which is wild because I feel like they've had so much success.
Yeah.
I think that's a bad move.
Time will tell.
Yes. And then in the bronze, Kate and Dylan beat J-Dub and Maggie. So Dylan with 2 bronze on the weekend.
Yep.
With the Yola.
That's awesome.
Should Yola sign Dylan Frazier?
I mean, they should.
It feels like
anyone should. Any company should.
Should sign Dylan?
Yeah.
Would you sign, if you owned a company, would you sign Dylan?
Depends if we had a budget. He's probably expensive.
What do you think Dylan's worth?
I don't know.
All right,
I don't know.
Let's go men's pro doubles.
Okay, men's pro doubles. All right, there were so many nasty Nelsons. There were so many hooks. There were so many.
We had nasties. Yeah, we had hooks. We had
everything.
We had people pulling out.
Yes.
So, so let's go right into it. So Travis Rettenmeyer, Donald Young play Andre Deescu, Christian Alshon in the round of 16. They end up winning game 1. And Travis is chirping. He is not nonstop. He's chirping the entire match, won't stop. And so Christian starts getting fired up.
Yep.
And he starts chirping back.
Yep.
And they end up beating him 4-2 in the next 2 games. And in one of the matches, Christian walks to the net and he screams at Travis. And Travis says, "You're the most cringe." He called him the most cringe, weirdest person he's ever met.
Didn't he say creepy?
Creepy and cringiest person he's ever met. And then they kind of exchanged like some social media. Like Travis was like, "He's still cringe, but I'll give respect where respect is due." Is that giving respect? Is that like a backhanded compliment? Like,
that guy, man.
"You're still cringe, but respect."
Okay, you want to talk about cringe? Isn't he like besties with like a lot of cringe people?
I mean, if you hang around Graham, then yeah. So that was kind of interesting.
I just can't with all this theatrics, the drama, the screaming, and then when these people start screaming, it's awesome when they're winning, but as soon as they start losing, they're silent. Radio silent. And then it's like, okay, if you can do it when you're up here, why don't you do it when you're down here?
Yeah, there's nothing to scream about, Tyler.
Yeah, but you should be, I mean, you still hit good shots when you're losing, assuming you hit 1 or 2.
True. Jack Sock, Eric Roddy beat James Ignatowicz and QD.
So that one was very interesting as well. Did you watch it?
I did.
So there was a very controversial call, and the replay, it's not the CCR, but it's the PPA's version of CCR. It shows that the ball is probably 50-50.
That's what I thought too.
You would have thought that ball would have been overturned, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
And actually, Jack Sock went up to the net and was essentially saying, "All right, they're giving it to us. That's the game." He actually ended up sitting down.
Yeah.
Because he was so certain that the ball would have been overturned.
Yep. And it was not.
And then so they ended up winning what, like 13-11 the first game?
12-10, yeah.
12-10, and then the second game, what was that score?
11-3.
11-3.
Jack got fired up.
Yeah.
Jack was mad.
Yeah.
Jack looks trimmer.
Yeah, that's what.
He's looking like Tennis Sock.
Do you think him and Roddy will gel better than him and Schick?
I think that we're going to see similar results. I think Jack's going to be better because Jack is taking it more serious and has a lot more free time right now. And I think that Roddy and Schick are very similar players, in my opinion. And so if Jack plays better, then they'll have better. I mean, this is already a better result. Him and Schick would have lost that.
Okay.
Or I'll say this: Sock last year, and Schick or Roddy would have lost that.
Okay.
Just my opinion. So we get to the round of 16. And so Jack, what happens is Jack is playing Zane and Deckel. And he's like rolling the ball on the ground back to them, like into the corners almost.
Yeah.
And Zane's getting annoyed. And so Zane starts kind of chirping. And Jack is, they're getting crushed. They lose 11-1, 11-5.
Yeah.
And so Jack.
And Zane is with Deckel, right?
And Zane's with Deckel. So Jack actually nasty Nelson Zane. Gets him. Hits him. And Zane, who was a great sport about it, by the way, Zane's like, look, you poke the bear and bad things happen.
Yeah.
He got hammered. It was a great nasty. Direct hit.
We talked about this last time, but what are your thoughts on the nasty? I mean, we've already seen it probably 200 to 300% more this tournament than in tournaments past. Probably 1,000% more.
Yeah, I mean, I think
no one ever even attempted it.
I mean, I think it's becoming part. It feels like it's almost becoming part of the game.
Is that good for the game?
Sure, it's entertaining.
Should there be penalties for it? It's not very sportsmanlike. It's
not, and we'll get to that in a sec when we get to the Rafa, Noe, and Pat Smith Jay match. So we'll jump that. So let's go to your match really quick. You and Connor Garnett. So Fed pulls out.
Yes.
So Fed has a rough day in mixed, rough day in singles, pulls out a men's with
CJ Klinger, who this has happened to with other partners.
CJ, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But CJ did pull out on Jilly B.
Yeah.
But point is he has an injured wrist. A lot of speculation that it was the paddle. That Fed's not ready for that paddle. That paddle's not ready for Fed. Obviously, that's all rumor and speculation at this point. Maybe the paddle was causing the wrist injury. But Fed doesn't play men's. Do you think it had anything to do with his results with that Adidas paddle?
I think so, yeah. I mean, whether or not his wrist hurts, I guarantee had he been winning, had he been in a final, he wouldn't have pulled out.
Do you think he should have pulled out earlier?
What do you mean, of doubles or of which one?
Well, you said that QD should have pulled out sooner. Should Fed not have played mixed doubles?
These are different situations,
Let
sir.
someone else advance?
These are different.
Well,
these are different situations, sir.
Oh, I see. Okay. So Fed pulls out. You guys, I mean, honestly.
That would have been like them playing their first round, beating them, crushing them, and then pulling out, withdrawing from our match.
How mad would you? How mad would you have been if they played you guys and won, and then he pulled out?
I would have been pretty mad.
But shouldn't you be able to beat him?
We should have been able to.
Also, I feel like you and Connor have had some tough draws. A lot of J-Dub and Dylan.
Yes.
And for once, you guys had a pretty favorable draw because of them pulling out.
To the quarters, yeah.
Yeah, to the quarters.
Yeah.
And then you end up getting Andre and Christian.
But what I'll say, and I don't have any statistical data to back this up, but I feel like the teams that we always play in the quarters, they almost always go on to take top two.
Yeah. Well, Andre and Christian won it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So you guys took them to 3. Tell us about that match a little bit.
It was good. We got off to a little bit of a slow start, and then I felt good in games 2 and 3. Yeah.
So 11-6, 9-11, 11-3. Andre and Christian pick up the dub.
They're a good team. I think they're a top 2 team when they're playing at their best.
So bottom part of the bracket ends up getting completely discombobulated, is a word we're going to use, because Rafa and Noe, Cliff, end up beating Pablo and Dylan 11-8, 11-8. And then Pat Smith and Jay DeVilliers turn back the clock, and they beat Augie and Jaume.
I was walking by their match, and I look over, and the ref's calling the score, and she's like, 13-13. I'm like, oh, my gosh, 13-13.
Yeah, 16-14, 11-9.
Yeah.
And Pat and Jay almost lost the round before. They won in 3 over Michael Lloyd and Todd Folk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now
that's what I'm saying is they played them in the Masters, Jay and Pat, and they had match points on Jaume and Augie. Yeah. And had they won, I don't think that Augie and Jaume would have locked in for the year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so we get to the quarters. It's 10-7. Jay and Pat in game 1. They're up on Rafa and Noe. The match has been chippy the entire time.
Yeah.
A lot of talking, a lot of Rafa Hewitt.
You're a big Rafa guy, aren't you?
I mean, I like Rafa. Yeah, Rafa and I are friends. I mean, there's no secret about that. But Rafa can be very over the top on the court. And his antics I can see why his antics could be annoying. But it's no different than Kate and Rachel and Anna and all these other people screaming to pump themselves up. That's what pumps Rafa up. So Rafa and Jay, there's a controversial call. The ref can't see it. The ref actually overturns it.
No, the ref did see it, yeah.
Yeah, the ref overturns it. Rafa starts arguing with the ref and says, you could really see that from there. And the ref's like, I saw it clearly hit the line. Right? Very next point, Pat misses like a dink into the net. Rafa turns to the ref and screams, ball don't lie. The ref stares at Rafa. And Rafa says, what? I can say ball don't lie. And the ref says, well, you don't need to yell it in my direction. So Jay goes back to serve and tries to nasty Nelson Rafa. Hits the net, clips the net, misses Rafa. And Jay did it out of anger. He was pissed. Where Jack, I feel like, nasty Zane out of fun. This is multiple times Jay's done things like this. He's stepped back and ripped balls at the kitchen line trying to take people's heads off.
But the best was what the ref said.
Yes.
Rafa's all
so
like, what
Rafa
about
says,
that,
well,
sir?
what about that, sir? What about that? And he says, well, he lost his serve. Well, what else do you want? He lost his serve. Like, that's his punishment enough. So I have two questions here. One,
I love it.
does Jay have an anger problem? Because that dude, I mean, he tried to kill Scarpa, tried to kill Ignatowicz, tried to kill Shelby Bates, going after Rafa.
Oh, my gosh.
Does he have an anger problem?
You know, it's interesting because when you talk to Jay, he's one of the nicest guys.
He is, but it's multiple times now.
Yeah.
Like, it's happened a lot. Like, I like Jay, but it's happened a lot.
Yeah, that's just his way to get pumped up. I mean, that's you talk about Kate screaming, Rafa screaming. This is Jay's way to pump himself up.
Trying to hit people in the face with the ball.
Yeah, he'll feel really good after that, I'm sure.
I'm sure if he actually does hit somebody, he'll feel great.
It's the most savage points in all of pickleball from the kitchen. They'll probably say that.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, Rafa, the best part is Rafa and Noe end up coming all the way back.
Yeah.
And they win 12-10 and then roll them in the next game 11-1.
Yeah.
It kind of came back to haunt Jay a little bit. Like, there's a little pickleball gods, a little karma there.
I think that I would imagine that Jay felt bad and felt a little bit embarrassed.
Well, dude, maybe the first time, but this is like the fifth time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So either you're not embarrassed anymore or you're not sorry because you keep doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So should there be penalties for that?
No, I mean, look, it's all within the rules of the game.
Actually, I don't think it is. That's unsportsmanlike.
I think it is unsportsmanlike. It's very douchey at this point to continue to do it. I mean, he's, like I said, I mean, so when he played Scarpa and Dow and he got mad, it was like 3 balls in a row where all he was trying to do was hit Scarpa. I mean, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, you need anger management.
Were you there in person when he went after James?
Yeah, I was at that.
You saw
one.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like, that's like, you need anger management. Like, you need some therapy.
Yeah.
Or a hug. One or the other.
I
didn't know the French had it in them.
There was a little bit of back and forth afterwards online about the line calls and is this the player's fault or is it the league's fault for allowing this? Thoughts?
I mean, I think it is both. I think the league does definitely have responsibility there.
I mean, Jay came out and said, you know, if this was the first time a player has made a bad call, that's fine. First or second time, but when it's the repeated same players that are getting accused of cheating, then something needs to be done.
I agree, but is that Jay's responsibility to take it into his own hands? I don't know. I mean, if Jay ends up hitting somebody in the face, okay, let's just call it what it is. Just like Ben ends up hitting someone in the face, does the league step in and have some responsibility there? Or, you know, they should have been better with their line calls or with the rules. I don't know. I mean, they're two different issues, I guess, because Jay's mad about line calls. Ben's mad about people trying to body shot him.
Yeah.
Which is legal according to Colin.
Which results in the same thing.
Yes.
Nasty Nelsons.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like, there's only one way to pay people back, and it's Nasty Nelsons. That's pickleball.
Oh, man.
And so now we move up, Ben and Hayden.
Going back on that, I just think so many players. I've been on the receiving end, and I've also been on the end making the bad call. I think so many players.
You're number 3 in hooks, according to
freaking ridiculous. I haven't made bad calls Travis has made way more bad calls this year. He's gotten called out on them, too.
He was on the list.
Yeah. No, but he's gotten, like, turned over, too.
Yeah.
People make bad calls all the time. People make bad calls all the time. When people start acting like your bad call is the reason that I lost the entire match, to me that is pretty comical. Unless it's literally on match point and they hook you, even then I would still take most of the blame, most of the responsibility.
Yeah, I
just think it's so funny how people are just accusing and pointing fingers. Yeah, there's a lot of people who make bad calls and we know who they are, but don't aim 2 inches inside the line. Aim 3 inches. Aim 4 inches.
It is an interesting.
You never see Ben Johns complaining about all these calls. You never see JW. You never see Dylan. You never see all these top players complaining about these calls like these other players are.
Yeah. Speaking of Ben, plays with Hayden.
Okay. First tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, first tournament together. He's going to play mostly with Gabe moving forward, but he has some spots to fill. And we'll actually get into one of his spots is actually he has another spot open now because Max Freeman dropped him.
Well, yeah, he had to.
Yeah, because he can't.
The rules, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, they play Riley and Matt, and they crush them 3-1.
Yep.
So then they're warming up for their semi, and we've had this happen before. Just a quick reminder to the players that the mics are hot on the courts.
Uh-huh.
And we had this happen with Rafa and the
How much would you pay to randomly place hot mics around the pickleball venues?
Yeah, I think it'd be great. I mean, again,
$100 per tournament?
Yeah, that'd be
200?
fun. I mean, we had Rafa on the lollipop thing. We had Ben on the bench talking about Tyra's drives.
Yeah.
And then now we catch, I think it was Ben and Hayden.
And Leia and Coop.
Are all warming up.
But it was Leia that was talking, right?
Yeah, but I think Hayden was talking too.
Yeah.
But they're just talking about Christian, and it wasn't bad. This isn't anything that's super bad. It's just that they're talking about another player, talking about him, Christian, and his chance of winning a triple crown, and how much it would suck if he wins. And Hayden was basically saying, "Oh, we got it. We'll take care of him," which they didn't. They ended up losing. But then he also made a comment about his videos and things like that. And so I guess my whole point is like, are the players aware of that? Do the players care?
Yeah, I mean, they're aware of it, and they for sure, most of them are pretty cognizant of what they say.
Because there's another one too. So same player got caught on a hot mic again.
Yeah.
And was talking about.
I mean, it's not a great look. I mean, what they were saying this last time, it was pretty comical.
I think it's pretty minor. I think what they're saying is really minor.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do.
It's interesting though. There's a lot of gossiping that goes on at these tournaments.
Yes.
I mean,
that's probably the best thing to say about it. Yeah. And then J-Dub and Tardio, who actually lost to Rafa and Noe
last tournament,
end up beating him 11-8, 11-5.
Yeah.
And so we get to the finals, and Daskew and Alshon, they roll 13-11, 11-2, 11-6.
Yep.
And then Ben and Hayden beat Noe and Rafa for bronze.
Yep.
So, women's doubles, last event.
Real quick, Vulcan Pickleball, the V Pro Flight.
How'd the Vulcan hold up in Tucson?
It was incredible. Loved it. This is the ball that they use on the PPA and also the MLP tours. They're also a sponsor of the King of the Court podcast. We love you. Thank you for your support. If you want to use the ball that the pros play with, go to vulcansportinggoods.com and use code KOTC to purchase the balls and get a small discount. They're incredible balls. The pros love them.
Pickleballs.
It's that perfect blend between softness and hardness, right in the middle.
Yep.
Can you testify to that?
I agree.
Moving on.
Wow.
Perfect spot of hardness and softness.
Yep. Grower, not a shower, the Vulcan ball.
Yep. What does that have to do with the Vulcan ball? Grower, not a shower? What does that mean?
So, women's doubles. Annalie and Catherine are really good at pickleball.
They are, yep.
They're very, very good. The girlies. Do you like calling them the girlies? I hate that nickname. Did you buy a sweatshirt?
I have not. It must be lost on the way. I'll have to submit
I tried to buy one.
a refund.
I was
Really?
going to buy one. $98, first of all,
Is it Lulu quality? Lululemon quality?
$98 is wild, but I was going to buy one.
Okay.
That was part of my olive branch.
Uh-huh.
But they clearly do not support husky sizes.
Okay.
Because they did not have any husky sizes available.
Okay.
So maybe they don't want certain people wearing their sweatshirts. Maybe they are unintentionally body shaming. So they didn't have one available, but I was going to buy one. All right. So Anna and Rachel,
They sold out.
they did sell out.
I mean, that's impressive, but it depends on how many they ordered. If they ordered 50 or 100 or whatever,
yeah,
then it's a little
but
bit
still,
different
at $98 to sell out of anything is
well,
impressive.
if you have 10 of them, then you can get your friends to buy them.
Well, that's true. So Anna and Rachel make the gold medal match. And, I mean, Tyler, I don't even know what to say. They got apps. It was on ESPN.
I think you do know what to say.
They got blasted. It was 11-0, 11-2, 11-4. So, basically, the pace that they're currently on, if they would have played 7 games, they might have got to 8 points. 10 points, I guess. But they just got destroyed. I mean, you scored 6 total points. Catherine was countering everything. Mm-hmm. You know, the way that they...
Can they put Annalie and Catherine in a men's draw? Just for one tournament.
Sure.
Be fun.
Sure.
Where do they make it? Quarters?
No.
16?
I think they could win the 64. I think round of 32 would be tough, but they could possibly, depending on the matchup, eke it out in 3, and then they lose in 16. But they could probably lose. I would probably say that if I had to put money on it, I would say they lose round of 32.
Wow. You heard it here first.
So, yeah, Anna and Rachel, I mean, it just didn't have it. Wasn't their day. They looked like Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Okay.
Got absolutely destroyed.
You know what I realized? The reason that Hunter and Paris did so well is they aired their commercial on the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Did you know, did I tell you that lady called me?
Yeah.
To cast those.
Yeah.
I actually submitted her stuff.
I know.
She called me to actually help cast that commercial.
Yeah.
And so I actually submitted some of our players, and then I said, you do realize that Anheuser-Busch owns a Major League Pickleball team? And she's like, they do? And they ended up using the players from that team, which probably makes the most sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually was given a lot of information. It was really cool. Like, she wouldn't tell me who the actor was. She would just say that he was 5'7", 160. This is his age. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, that was an awesome commercial.
Okay. Women's doubles, Meg and Etta make it to the semis.
Yeah, they made the semis, end up getting 4th, but
Paris and Tyra do well.
Paris and Tyra are ridiculous. Like, they're the clear-cut number 3 for sure right now. I think it's Annalie and CP, and then it's Anna and
the
Rachel.
girlies.
Anna and Rachel.
The girlies.
And then Paris and Tyrone.
At a clear number 2.
What do you think about the black headband Anna Bright was wearing?
Maybe that's why the pickleball.com came out with the rumors that she was into Dylan, because Dylan had the headband at Masters.
Maybe. I mean, she was also wearing the Dylan Have My Baby shirt. That could have something to do with it.
Maybe.
Do you think H is jealous?
He's got to be. He seems like the jealous type.
Do you think James Ignatowicz is like...
I don't think he knows what's going on.
Dude, talk about fall from grace. It's clear that she was the stable one in that relationship.
Yeah, I don't think that was up for debate.
Okay. Paris and Tyra almost like lucked into their partnership last year. Tyra got dropped. Paris had a couple openings. Viv, she was supposed to play a little bit with Vivian David, I think, and then Viv kind of stopped playing a little because I don't know if it's because of Thomas or what, but anyways, they ended up having some openings, and it's really worked out well for them.
Was Lacey Schneemann at this tournament?
No.
Okay.
I think she's still recovering from
Australia. Yeah.
Dude,
because Tyson wasn't there either, right?
Yeah, no Tyson, no Lacey, no Colin Johns.
Where was he?
He's recovering.
I just realized that. Jeez.
That's the problem, is that he wasn't there and nobody realized.
Oh, man.
Could you imagine spending however many days Lacey had to spend with Vivian Glassman? You would take time to recover too.
What does that mean?
Just saying, it'd be rough. You need some alone time.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyways, CP, Annalie. I mean, they're the best of the best. AL wins 2 golds.
Okay.
Impressive.
Love it. Mixed doubles, I think, is kind of locked with Ben and Annalie.
Yeah.
Women's doubles is very locked with
Probably 90,
Annalie and
95%. Yeah.
men's is pretty up in the air. Men's singles, pretty up in the air. Women's singles, locked down. All right. Anything else?
No. I mean, it was a good tournament. We got a week off.
A week off, and then we're back in Mesa.
And then we're in Mesa.
Yeah. Hopefully the weather continues. The weather in Tucson, outside of the first day, I think the first day for singles was a little bit windy. But then after that, it was beautiful. It was so nice.
Mesa always has great crowds. So
Yep.
I think that'll be good. Mesa will be fun.
Okay. Jim Kloss was there.
I'm sure he was.
He misses you.
I'm surprised he could drive that far from.
He drove every day. So he lives in Scottsdale. He drove every day to Tucson, which is like an hour and a half to 2 hour drive.
Really?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think that there should be an age limit on a driver's license.
He had a sweater, and I should have taken the picture of it, but it said Lord of the Cats.
That guy.
It's pretty funny.
That guy, yeah.
Lord of the Cats.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick, Jimmy, there was some guy that reached out to us before we get into questions, and can you give a little bit of background on their story?
Yeah, so there's a guy named, let me pull it up here, Bobby
Burgess. He said, been watching the pod since day one. Huge fan. Let's see.
He basically, I got it.
Okay.
They bought tickets to PPA Mesa for
Yep.
him and his wife. They're in Canada.
Yep.
BC, British Columbia.
Kelowna. I've been there.
Kelowna, you have?
I have.
Really?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Kelowna, BC, Canada. So if I ever want to go, actually, I think that's where Rick Chan's from.
Huh.
Owner of the, Richie's Canadian too?
Really?
Yeah. Anyways, so they were going to PPA Mesa, and he has an 8-year-old daughter, and she actually had a really bad fall and broke her femur. You know how hard it is to break your femur?
It's got to be hard.
So she broke her femur. They had to cancel their Arizona trip, and this is kind of cool. PPA has a no refund policy, obviously, and they emailed anyways. And PPA, he said, within 5 minutes they responded. They gave a full refund and wished their daughter a speedy recovery. So props to PPA for that.
Wow, PPA
That's impressive.
stepping it up.
Pardo clearly didn't answer that email.
Bridge loan must have just came through.
Bridge loan came through, able to refund some money. So we want to give a shout out to Sophie Burgess. She's actually loves pickleball. 8 years old. So Sophie, get better, get well soon. Make sure that
She'll be
your
the
dad
next-
gets you lots of ice cream. That's the only way to get better is have lots of ice cream.
I
okay?
can attest to that.
She's the next ALW, I hear.
Yep.
So
All right,
shout
awesome.
out Sophie.
Best of luck, Sophie. Thanks for watching. All right, let's get into questions now. All right, you ready, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. All right, somebody says, how do you stay loose during those long periods between matches at tournaments?
Some players nap.
Connor Garnett was napping because he was sick this last time. Yeah, I mean, once you get going, it's actually pretty nice because you've had 1 or 2 matches to kind of warm up. But yeah, some players will do stretches. Some will try to get a few touches in on the court. But once you get going, it's pretty easy to stay loose, at least at the pro level. Somebody said maybe Ben should have picked Diescu. He played great with Alshon in Arizona.
Yeah. I mean, that was probably something that he talked about and thought about.
So Diescu's great. He's done very, very well, but I'm surprised Alshon still isn't getting as much praise. He was in 3 finals, and I think he's maybe a number 2 player right now on the men's double side.
Diescu? Alshon.
Alshon.
Yeah, but could that have been like a personality conflict there?
With who? Ben and
With Ben?
Well, yeah, I'm saying I don't understand why Alshon doesn't get more praise.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I'm saying why Ben didn't choose Alshon.
Yes.
So this actually is an interesting question that kind of goes into that. Jason Hart says, Can you explain the Lee Waters coaching situation with AL and Alshon? Does she give Alshon advice and strategy for beating Ben in men's doubles and singles? If so, wouldn't that advice adversely affect ALW and mix with Ben? Does she give AL advice in beating Alshon? This coach situation makes no sense. Thoughts?
I have no idea. I don't know their coaching situation, but yeah, I mean, you'd think there'd be a little bit of conflict of interest, which, I mean, you see it when Alshon does play against Annalie. Like, she doesn't really coach.
Yeah, I think that she's probably just quiet, or maybe that Alshon knows that Annalie is first.
Yeah.
Annalie comes first.
And I'm sure she put that out there. She said, hey, if you play my daughter, I'm going to have to.
Yeah, and maybe some of it's off the court coaching too that she gives. But it is a very interesting. I don't know how that dynamic works, but it would be interesting question to ask for sure.
Okay. Jimmy on skinny. Tyler covering full court. Who wins?
I play skinny. You play full.
Yeah. I beat you with my offhand, and you were using your normal hand.
Tyler, let's do it. Let's rematch.
That would be fun, actually.
Yeah, let's do it. Should we record it?
What, first to 3 points? You might have a chance.
Skinny, I'll be fine.
No.
Hey, let's do it on Friday at Club
Pickleball on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
Okay.
Okay. You are loved on Saturday. We're gonna do it.
Okay. Thanks, Josh, for the question. Somebody said, what happened when Paris Todd was deducted a point in her singles match? We actually already talked about that, and she actually wasn't deducted. The other person just got an additional point.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking also about Alshon and Lee's coaching situation. This is a good question. Who in pickleball has the highest ceiling in terms of talent and athleticism, men and women? So the highest ceiling.
The highest ceiling.
So that's a great question because, in my opinion, those that have the highest ceiling, their floors are normally not that high.
Yeah, I mean, I think the highest ceiling in terms of just pure athleticism is probably Alshon.
I mean, yes, Alshon would be up there, but honestly, AJ,
but there's other
DJ Young, when they're on, they're insane.
Yes, but like in terms of like the highest ceiling in terms of like playing, like the guy that like can get super hot and you're like he's the best player in the world. Yeah, AJ has looked like that sometimes.
Yes, yeah.
Sometimes AJ,
Gabe, Hayden.
Yeah, but sometimes AJ will get on and like you're like holy shit, like AJ. Yeah. But for AJ, it's always going to be that consistency, right?
Yeah, I think the better question is who of the top, call it 10 pro players, maybe 15, has the highest ceiling.
Yeah,
because Ben, his floor is so high. Every single time he steps on the court, he's playing so good. Most of the top players are like that. Yeah. Riley, his floor is very high. Yeah, for the most part. But
I don't think Riley's ceiling is much higher than his floor.
Exactly.
Like, I think Riley's just Riley. Riley's never going to lose in the first round.
Exactly.
But he's always going to kind of cap himself, at least recently, like as a quarter or semifinal round.
Okay, so give me 3 names on the men's side with the highest ceiling.
The guys that just like with their ceiling, they just get crazy hot. I think that AJ is one of them.
Okay.
I think Julian's ceiling's really high.
Julian, yeah.
When he gets hot. And then I think that there's a guy like on the singles side, right? Like Gabe Joseph. Sometimes he looks like the best player in the world.
Yep.
When he plays singles, and then other times, so just on the singles side, I think a guy like Gabe Joseph.
All right, women's side.
Women's side,
you have to put Lacey up there, number 1.
Lacey for
when
sure.
She's on, and her floor has been very high recently.
Yes, Lacey when she's on is incredible.
Yeah.
I actually think Megan Dazan when she's on is the same thing.
Yeah.
Megan has these moments that's just insane, but it's like now look at like the Kawamoto's, right? Like their floor is the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they're just consistent. So there's a difference there. So I'd say Lacey, I'd say Megan, and then honestly probably Glausman.
Maybe Tyra.
Yeah, but I think Tyra's raising her floor.
Yeah.
But her top is very good too.
I mean, actually, you probably have to put Annalie still number 1.
I mean, yeah,
to be
Annalie's floor and her ceiling is here.
I mean, when Annalie is...
The ceiling is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good questions.
Good question. All right, let's see. How important is having right partner on Pro Tour, or can a top player win with mid player? Partnerships are huge.
Yeah.
I think there's very few players that can win with almost anybody, and those players are the absolute top of the top.
Yeah.
Like there's probably 3 of those players that can win with a wide variety of players.
Yeah, partners matter. I mean, even little things like look at Rafa and Noe, right? They found something in their partnership.
Yes, they've only had 2 tournaments, and so I'd like to see them a little bit more. But yeah,
they seems like they've played really well together. You and Connor Garnett, right? But look at when you used to win mixed, when you had really good partners for mixed.
Yep.
There was a big difference.
Yep. All right. Somebody said, who won the Arizona Squeeze trade?
I think in terms of actual ability, I think that, so we didn't talk about that on here, but the Squeeze traded, it's not even out yet, Tyson McGuffin and Megan Gazan to the Phoenix Flames.
Yep. No more drive.
For Lacey Schneeman and Dylan Fraser. I think Fed and Dylan are really close, and Fed really wanted someone to play the right with him. And then Tyson is a huge name. If you're in Arizona and you're trying to freaking build this brand, this Phoenix Flames brand, I mean, who better to have than Tyson?
I think Tyson is a little bit different. He does have a really big name, but I also think that is a little bit overhyped. I mean, Jack Sock, he's got, 1 million followers on Instagram? And
sure.
They did 0
but
with his
Tyson
name.
and Andre play well together.
Yes, yeah.
And Megan's played with Andre and Tyson.
I'm talking about like exposure.
Yeah, and she's Proton, and so that means that they're probably going to drop their is it Jesse? Yeah, they're probably going to drop Jesse.
Yeah.
And so I would say that it's kind of weird, but it's one of those weird things where I think both sides won.
Okay. I a lot of people said it was essentially a wash.
I feel like both sides won that.
Somebody said, rank the success and future potential of some of the new partnerships we saw in Arizona. Are there any that stand out to you?
Yeah, so I just talked about Rafa and Noe. I think that one, I agree with you, jury's still out, but it seems like they're clicking a little bit. That's a good partnership. Augie and Jaume, I think that's another partnership that has a really high ceiling and a really low floor. On the men's side,
I think Andre and Christian is very
Andre
very
and Christian
impressive.
is a force.
Yep.
That's going to be very, very good.
I don't know if they're planning on playing every single tournament together or not, though.
Yeah, I actually wanted to see Fed and CJ because I think they would have done well.
Yeah, I was excited to play them.
Yeah, I think that they would have done well.
Who would have won that matchup? Me and Connor, or Fed and CJ?
I mean, I think the way Fed's playing with that Adidas paddle, it probably would have been you and Connor, but it would have been interesting to see. And then on the women's side, I feel like the women's partnerships still evolve a lot more than the men's do, but I like Tina and Kate.
Okay.
That's a good partnership. I mean, really, other than that, and then Tyra and Paris, obviously, they're not brand new, but other than that, it just seems like they.
Do you know if Deckel and Zane are planning on playing more this year?
I don't, but I would assume so because unless Tyson's going to play with Deckel, and
I thought that I heard that he was, but this was a couple months ago.
Unless Tyson and Deckel are going to play, and the only reason that is because Tyson didn't play this one. I don't know. So
you ghosted Zane,
I guess, on Twitter. Hurt his feelings.
Somebody said, Tyler, if you could pick an MLP team to be traded to, who would you want to play with? So that's kind of a two-folded question because are you talking about the players on the team or the organization? There's a couple teams that are known to really treat their players really well. Then there's also other teams that I would love to partner with. So at this moment, I mean, the Shock are very hot right now.
Who would you rather take, Gabe or Hayden's spot?
Whoever plays the left better. I think Hayden's playing the left right now. So Gabe's.
So you Hayden, Anna Bright, and Kate Fahey.
Yeah, assuming everyone stays and they don't drop anybody. But yeah, DC, they spend a lot of. From what I hear, they spend quite a bit of money on their players.
James or Deckel?
I've never played with Deckel. and I actually think we would do well. But I've played with James, and we have done well. And so either of them.
So you, Deckel, Rachel, and Jackie.
Yeah.
Who would you play mixed with?
Whoever plays the left.
They both do.
Who's better at playing the right?
I think they both are. I think they both. I mean, Rachel and Anna play straight up, and Jackie plays a lot of left. Her sister's a lefty.
What other team is there? I
don't think Jackie likes playing the left and mixed.
Most teams are fun. I mean, most teams are good. They're fun to be on. Okay, we'll do a couple more questions. This is a good one too. Do you think switching to a slower ball would really drop viewership that much?
I think that switching to this is. I mean, I kind of gave my take on this. I don't think it's going to drop viewership. That
I don't
much
think it would drop viewership at all.
Have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
But the thing with me with the slower ball is that it's not going to catch the casual fan. It's not going to catch the guy that's flipping channels. Mm-hmm. Right? They're going to watch and be like, dude, this is like when you go watch. If you're flipping channels and
I don't know if that's necessarily true though, but
badminton's on TV and you watch that little shuttlecock and it's like whoosh,
what is it called?
A shuttlecock.
What? Shuttle what?
Yes. But then you see a crazy overhead and you're like, oh, that was cool. Right? Who's that dude that from Utah that played freaking badminton has the sickest overhead?
I know who you're talking about. Diego or
Bruno.
Yeah.
Has insane overhead because he was like a pro badminton player.
Yeah.
And so, like, when you're watching him play, you're like, and then you see that overhead. It's like, oh, that's crazy. And then you watch for a second, right?
Yeah, but the crazy thing is people are getting it back, and they're having those long,
Yeah, I mean, look, there's pros and cons to both sides of it. I just feel like
I fall more in your camp, but I'm just giving the counter argument.
Yeah, I just think that there's pros and cons. And I just felt like with that slow ball, it didn't feel like there was enough separation between pros and 5-0s. That's all. But there was actually a Facebook thread today talking about the pros, and they were like going off about like how watching them in person, how much better it is than on TV because you can see the speed of the game. Yeah.
All right. Somebody said, have you tried the Pickleball TV app? If so, rate the app.
So I have. I do like that everything is all in one place. Okay. I didn't like that the app just kept crashing all weekend randomly at times. I also don't like that the app, for some reason, it just randomly rewinds 30 seconds or to the middle of the day. Literally just random. I'll be watching it on my iPad and I'll just rewind randomly. Yep. It's the weirdest thing in the world. I have to keep hitting the live button. But, I mean, those are minor. Hopefully, like there's a version that's coming out that they can fix that. But other than that, I don't mind it. I like that it's all in one spot. I don't think it's like the greatest app. It's a little clunky. It's not the smoothest thing in the world, but the convenience of it is nice.
Yep. Can Ben only win with Colin?
I guess the jury's out. We'll find out.
Andre #1 in the world for men's doubles now?
No.
No, if anything, I would say Alshon, but you still have to go. Ben Jones.
I think that it's.
I think Andre's top 5.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's Ben, Alshon, Fed, Andre, and there's a battle between 5 between probably Hayden and Gabe.
Yeah. How often does Tyler use a new paddle, and what does he do with his old ones? Great question. Normally, I'll switch mine out once every 3-ish weeks. Most of the time, I just keep my old ones, and then I'll give them away to
Do you hang them
people.
in your garage?
I don't know.
Should you hang them in the wall like Alshon?
I don't.
Remember he had all those paddles on the wall?
Yeah, I do remember that.
His diadems.
Many PPA females tuck the left side of their skirt into their shorts. Why? The Tui. So I asked around a little bit about this, and it's so that it doesn't get in the way. So it doesn't flop around.
Yeah. Interesting.
For the most part.
Huh. Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
No. Big week.
Big week. Thank you for tuning in. If you made it this far, please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps this channel grow, and we are trying to grow. Also, please go order this. It will make you feel better. If you couldn't tell, I've been sick for like 6 weeks.
Because you're not taking enough. Holy.
You need electrolytes in your body, especially with the warmer temperatures coming up. Summer's going to be right here, and as you sweat, you lose a lot of vital nutrients in your body.
There was nutrients.
And you need to replenish them with these. Go to holyperformance.com, use code KOTC. We'll see you next time.